Okay, it is 5:30. We will call to order the Tuesday, April 12th, 2022 Albany School Board meeting. Myself, Tim Sorgi, Chair, Dan Bianchino, Curtis Coleman, Superintendent Kevin Richard here. Item 2 on the board is the reorganization of the board. 2A is election of a chairperson. Any nominations?
I nominate Tim Sorgi.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any others? All right, hearing none. Roll call vote.
Dan?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Curtis? Great.
Election of a vice chair. I would nominate Dan Bianchino. Give it a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. No other nominations. Roll call vote.
Dan?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
And meeting dates and times.
Yeah, please don't switch that.
Absolutely not. So we're looking at second Tuesday of
Yeah.
each month,
Yeah.
5:30 p.m.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Approval of the minutes from 2/8/22. You guys have had a chance to look them over. Do we have a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for
Okay.
2/8/22.
I'll second it.
Any discussion, concerns, changes? Hearing none. Roll call vote to approve the minutes at 2/8.
Dan?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And Curtis?
Yes.
Okay. Item 4, comments. Public comments. We have no public here. Any board member comments? None. Item 5, signing of the checks and manifest. That's already been done. Took care of that. Item 6, attendance at meetings.
So this would be meeting number 1.
Okay.
So you're all at 111.
There we go.
6B, budget transfer between functions. Kevin, I don't know if you want to even comment on that or...
No, that was
Please go
regarding
ahead.
the issue that was dealt with,
Yep.
we discussed non-public, just kind of legal piece.
Yeah, so it's just moved from one column to
Yeah.
another. Okay. And 6C, consider general assurances, terms and requirements for participation in federal programs. I read that over ad nauseum.
Yes,
And
great reading.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough sledding.
That was fascinating.
But we don't have to vote on that tonight, right?
Yes.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys get a chance to look at any of that stuff, or you have any concerns about it? It's pretty straightforward. What's good about it is they'll just outline what any of the changes are from prior years.
Because we accept federal dollar, you probably have to deal with it with all your contracts as well every year. It says that we have to go through and make sure that we follow any guidelines for big ticket items, non-discrimination, equal opportunity employment, follow bid processes, all of those things that are in here, and we're going to follow the federal guidelines all the way through. Ultimately, I'm responsible for administering and making sure we have all these things in place.
And you're gonna need signatures on those, right? I'll do that afterwards.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you have to sign about 17 pages and initial.
I know. Item 7, superintendent's report.
You didn't take a vote on that, but just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right.
There was a motion, I need a motion, and then
What is we're voting to accept what?
these federal assurances. So
Okay.
there's 17 pages worth of federal
Yeah, I
documents.
did see that, I read those, but, well,
Drug-free workplace,
Yeah.
and you name it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
there. So,
okay, so I'll make a motion to accept the general assurances.
Okay. I will second it.
Yes.
Any discussion on the board regarding that? Hearing none.
Dan,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Just have a few things that pertain to you folks, FYI items. One is, this is just a document about all the federal dollars that were received by Conway, because that impacts you. Bartlett received some as well. and Albany received a little bit of money, not much. So on the SEU 9 website is the plan on how these were all spent. I'll just take a few minutes. The first part was CARES money, which came in April of 2020. And you can see that expires September 30th, 2020. Even though there's still money remaining, 69,000, you can see that's encumbered or allocated for the rest of the year. So that will be zeroed out. Okay, so for example, we have positions that are in the budget right now, and those are encumbered. So that, even though it says remaining $12,000 in the first column on the right-hand side, those will be exhausted. Stipends for some of those pieces, technology. So CARES money is really, that will be drained and is close to zero by September. The next page, this is the one that was what was called the SPRF 1 and 2, and we were eligible to recoup some funds. So this was a tremendous amount of work that we had to do in a short period of time. And you can see this is $469,000 that we recouped, and that was a big win for all the districts, and that helped contribute to, you know, the end of the year fund balance in Conway of $3 million, because we could use some of these pieces moving forward. But that was all expended, had to be done by December 31st of 2020. So that was SPR 1. Then you start talking about ESSER, the federal dollars 2 and 3. And you can see on the left-hand column, it talks about this is good through 2023. So actually a year from this upcoming September. The big pieces that you'll see are some staffing pieces that were expended this year. Again, additional teachers to keep those class sizes relatively small. Substitutes, long-term substitutes, social worker. You'll see the windows, the first part of the windows, right? $650,000. Even though it says there's $84,000 remaining, that's because we paid X number of dollars on the bill right now, and we'll continue to do that. Technology.
Are those completed?
The first, there's like 3 phases, and they did the first phase. All the windows, if you take a look out by the track there, those tractor trailers, those are chock full of all the manufactured windows.
So they're not going to fall down on anybody?
They're not. That's hopefully they'll outlast me. And you'll see even tutoring in some of those pieces. So even though, like I said, there's money's left over, there are a lot of it that's encumbered. Flip the page. This is extra $4 million. So what happens when these grants come out? The allocations come out, and then you have to write a grant, and you have to specify what that will be used for. And then you can change it as you go through. Obviously, we have to write the grant in order for it to be approved, and then we will make additions. We haven't really tapped into too much of this at all. And that will be revised along the way. One of the things that we've been pretty careful about doing is not creating any long-term liability for the districts at all. Some of the districts that I've talked to, other superintendents and other school districts, actually get themselves into a little bit of a jam by using these federal dollars to provide, raises and incentive pieces temporarily, but then they have to make up for it. And what I've seen is they've given these incremental pieces in 1 year and then try to make up the difference in the second and third year collective bargaining agreements. Of course, it becomes too much of a liability, and they're getting voted down. So we're real careful about that. The reason we're talking about this is there is on the website, the plan itself goes into more detail. There's also a form. If people want to give feedback to where they think priorities should be, by all means, give that form, fill it out, and send it back, and we'll take that under consideration. If you, as a Albany School Board, have certain pieces that you want to do, we know that there are going to be significant gaps that we're going to have to take care of. So we have a lot of summer programming. We actually have programming coming up in April vacation. We have a couple other opportunities on weekends now for kids, and we're trying to re-engage as much as possible. So that's ESSER funding, federal dollars, just an update for you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those or come back to you with more.
So on these monies,
Yeah.
they are for the entire SAU,
These are for the Conway School District.
Conway School District, but since Albany sends all their kids there,
You got
is proportionately, do we see, we don't see any type of reduction in our percentage that we pay, other than the fact that Conway's budget is down because some of this money is allocated?
And we have to be real careful. Everything has to be tied toward COVID relief. So for example, Kennett Middle School reduced a couple of teachers this year through the budget process. We can't use this money to replace those teachers. And we can't use this money to offset, because that's against the guidelines for these
But
things.
could you use it to bring in substitutes for teachers that are out with COVID? Or
Yeah, we will continue to do that, and that's in the budget moving
Okay.
forward. If
Now, how do the windows tie into COVID?
air quality, ventilation,
Okay.
those type of
All right,
things. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
It's a stretch. Telling you, I put through, as you would know, I had to jump through so many hoops with the state. I even had to do like an archaeological survey and get state fire marshal's approval and send down plans for window projects. But, it was a lot of work, and money's there if you want to do the work, and my group did the work, so it's a...
But right from the start, ventilation was a huge issue in buildings when
Yeah.
COVID first hit.
Yeah, unfortunately, all three of the elementary schools already had bonds to upgrade all the HVAC in previous years.
Okay.
So that's the ESSER piece. One other piece, just again, another FYI for you folks, is just a look at student absenteeism over this year. Extremely high for a number of reasons. And this is just something we're going to have to continue to grapple with as well. But you'll see, typically during the year, we have about 95% attendance before COVID hit us, which is about 9 days per year. And you'll see the number of students. Now, a lot of this was COVID related. We had 60 cases so far. And people had to miss a lot of time with that. Hopefully moving forward, we don't have to miss as much time. But the other phenomena that we're seeing is and we haven't quite put a finger on it yet, there's just a lot of absenteeism, people going on vacations, people taking the kids out, and I'm not as concerned about that with people who are engaged and have the wherewithal to do that. But the other side is, kids that aren't attending for a variety of other reasons as well. And that's something we're going to have to really kind of re-engage, and those who see it on the sports field, co-curricular, the numbers are really down. I don't know if it was because everyone was, those who were engaged, but others were, engaged on devices and electronics. So hopefully we can re-engage and get people back in and offer more programming.
I wonder if some of those numbers are impacted because now, prior to it, a student would think, oh gee, I have a cold, it's not that bad, I'll go to school, I'm not that bad. Now they're saying, I'm not going to school. That
A lot of reasons. People
Yeah.
have compromised family members that they're doing that. Teachers were out, having with COVID, and parents might have been saying. So there's a lot of reasons. We'll do some follow up with
Are
that.
other superintendents seeing the decrease in athletics?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, it's pretty sad, really. We had, and I think, as a hockey parent, I get it. The people were engaged in that throughout, but I think it was those other students who might not have had the casual athletes, I guess, is what is more concerning. The kids who wanted to be part of a team, part of something, and then maybe they get turned on a little bit later on. I think we lost a lot of those kids, and it's kind of all over the board.
intramural type kids, or
Yeah,
Okay.
they want to be part of a team, but
yeah.
they don't have necessarily aspirations to be, playing
Full
college
blown.
or something like that.
Yeah, I heard there's only 10 girl softball players in middle school.
Yeah,
It's usually there's 30.
there used to be, yeah,
So that's
30 or
good.
40, yeah.
Ooh.
Even the high
It's a
school
huge
track
problem.
was the same thing, yeah. Yeah, we gotta get those in,
I know I went to parent night for the middle school
Yeah.
for my sixth graders going into seventh. I almost didn't go because I figured I already got two through,
Yeah.
but I figured maybe there'll be some changes, and there seemed to be quite a bit of interest, and the teachers have been heavily promoting. You know, this is what all the things, the activities that we have available that are open now. So, you know, we really encourage everybody to do it. So, it wasn't like they were, you know, holding back or anything like that.
yeah.
So,
So if a kid shows up for school, at what point during the day, if he or she leaves for an illness, is it considered an absence?
So these are full day absences. These do not include tardies, these do not include early dismissals.
Oh, okay.
These are full days. Yeah, the list would be even more
I
extensive.
know. Well, that's
Haven't
what I was
broken
hoping
it down
watered down a
to
bit, yeah.
who's quarantined and who was out for COVID, but
Right.
it's just it's something new that we haven't dealt with before. That's a concern.
Sports helps because
It does.
Because if they miss, they can't
Yeah.
play their sport, or if they're late, they can't play. So that does help. But
But just an FYI,
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
we'll continue to tackle it.
Anything else, Kevin?
That's it for me.
Okay. We have any other business?
I just had a question. Does the SAU 9, and I don't know if this falls under safety or whatever, but have you ever looked, and you probably have, but the cell phone service at the high school? I mean, you know, I coach, and it's a pain in the neck.
It
And I
is.
hear it from parent after parent after
Yeah,
parent.
yeah.
it's
And
been
is
like
it-
that from day one.
Yeah, and is there anything has it ever been looked at from an administrative level?
You know, I can check on that. I know at one time they did,
Yeah.
but you know, we've really dumped a lot of money into the Wi-Fi service. So if they have Wi-Fi available for phone calls, it can do that. But
Not if you're outside though.
yeah,
You know,
that's
and
an
it's
issue.
like if you go onto the Kennett ground, the high school grounds, is you're in a black zone and you just get no service.
No, I agree. Even when I go out for meetings,
Yeah,
I
and
don't-
You know, I had mentioned, this has been an issue for a while.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned, I said, you know, if you contact some of these cell services, Verizon, whoever, I know on Bald Hill we have a cell tower up there. You could possibly, what if they put a cell tower? I mean, that would be the perfect spot. They'd pay you for it. They would pay you to
Oh,
put
yeah.
a cell tower there, probably a substantial amount. It's like, what would be the downside to that? That would solve everything.
Yeah, it just seems like it would be a safety issue if there was ever an event. No one has cell phones, and you can't get a hold of your kids, and you can't get. You
Yeah.
know, it's just. I don't know, and they do make booster systems, and
They do.
make so it's. I don't know. As a community, is it something we could reach out, or if it's something I don't know. It just seems like it's
you know what? Coming from parents is always better than coming from me sometimes, the board. So even as, for consideration, I'll bring it up to the facilities committee in Conway. And,
Because even a booster station,
Yeah.
and they make those. I mean, I can't imagine there's a whole lot. I know there's not a whole lot to that. So,
No.
I mean, we build booster stations and remote wind farms, and it's all doable. So it's just, I'd appreciate it. And
sure.
I just think if there's ever a problem, you just are sitting there and you're no communications at all.
Yeah.
So
One thing I did want to bring up as well under any other business is we're inside 1 year from when the school options committee is going to have to make a recommendation to this board about what we're going to do with the tuition contracts. So just as we'll be doing periodic updates, try to keep them on the agenda from time to time.
Do you want to put it
Just to let
on
people
as an
know.
agenda item?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I can just throw out under any other business right now, just to give a quick update, but we can put it on,
Yeah.
for the next meeting as well. But we have been in discussions with Conway about reconfiguring the tuition agreement that we have with them. Myself and Chuck Merrow are dealing with Joe Lentini and Joe Mosca. We put off meeting this last month simply because they wanted to wait till the Conway elections took place to make sure that, well, at least for Joe Lentini, that he was still going to be there for continuation purposes. But it's going well. There are definitely some things, and we talked early on that a couple minor changes, little tweaks to that, could be good. And we've also been in discussions with Madison Elementary School about that possibility, using K6 down there as well. So just a couple things that we are looking at. It did come up at the annual town meeting, as you guys know. They were asking, there were some people in the audience asking about that. So we will start doing regular updates about that again, just so people
I'll put it
have
on
a
the
little
agenda.
bit of information about it going forward. Okay.
Just along those lines, Tim, I know that the co-op committee dissolved and will
Yeah.
reestablish probably in June
Okay.
that group of folks collectively to take a look at the high school and
Yeah,
any other options too.
sounds good. Next meeting is set for June 14th at 5:30 p.m. Item 9, and no publics here, no public comment. Item 10, we don't have anything for non-public. We have a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Dan,
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Kurt. Good.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And